Take a walk with destiny. Walk on the trail of your life. Live your soul's purpose. Hosted by Jessica Joins, each show is dedicated to revealing your true calling and living a life of fulfillment. Each guest brings inspirational stories that help clear the way for your higher calling. You can listen to her show once a month on the uimediaapp.com, WDJY 99.1 FM, WTTA 101.2 FM, Talk10FM.com, Facebook Live on United Intentions, Spreaker, and many other platforms. Want to join the conversation? Call in now at 678-495-4345. So let's unwind, rest your mind, and let your spirit free to find your soul purpose.
Hey everyone, welcome to Soul Purpose with Jessica Joins. I am your host, Jessica Joins. Welcome wherever you are. I want to give a special shout out to our friends at WDJY 99.1 FM and a special hello to our friends at WTTA 101.2 in Kentucky and Ohio. We have an incredible show for you today and an absolutely beautiful guest, beautiful soul, coming on, beautiful on the inside and out, Michael Alago, which we will bring on in just a second. But I just wanted to say to everyone, clearly we're going through a moment as a community, as a global community, a lot of stuff going on right now. And so I wanted to be sure to address that and say that I hope that you're staying safe. I hope that you are honoring your own well-being needs. I hope that you are taking care of yourself, taking care of your family, doing whatever you feel called to do and listening to what's being advised. We're all in this together. We are all one. You know, I really have been asked a lot, like, Jessica, hey, what do you think is going on here? And, you know, there's never just one kind of black and white answer to anything. Everything is always multi-layered, you know, kind of multi aspects to what's going on. But when I really tune into it and sit with it, you know, I feel that energy of fear. And, you know, on many levels, I think we have the opportunity right now for a real mass kind of fear detox, if you will. A real letting go of our own fear, the energy of fear, the things that are showing up for us right now that are really triggering us and calling us to look within, you know, on a collective level, on an individual level. So really pay attention right now to, you know, how that energy is showing up for you and serving you. You know, I always say, you know, you don't need to act from fear. You don't need to live from fear, but that doesn't mean ignoring doing what's healthy for you, what's right for you, you know, listening to the advice that's going on, but you don't need to sit within the energy of fear as a constant right now either. That's a choice. You know, you really have an opportunity to take the actions, take the right actions that you need to take for yourself, but do so from a place of love, right? There's a difference there. And, you know, one thing that also comes up for me is like, we cannot argue anymore that we are deeply interconnected. I mean, not just nationwide, but on a global level. And for me, as someone that's looking at what I can learn from this, what is the positive to take away, that is a beautiful message to take away. There's no more arguing that we are deeply interconnected. The question is, what are we going to choose to do about it? And so for me right now, what I keep reminding myself, reminding others if it's advice that they choose to want or asking for, is let's not lose our humanity for this. Any challenge that is tough, anything that comes forward because it is an opportunity for us to rise. It is an opportunity for align with the highest aspects of ourselves. And so really focusing right now on how you can hold your humanity and not let fear get the best of you. Again, it doesn't mean you don't take smart action. It doesn't mean, you don't, take the actions that are being advised and do what's best for your neighbor and your family. But you don't need to live in a constant state of fear while taking that action. You can stay true to your heart. And so with that, tonight, we normally do what I call 6 soul purpose truths at the start of each show. And instead, because of everything that's going on, and I know so many people out there really are looking for support right now, we're instead doing 6 spiritual truths for these challenging times. So the first truth that I invite you to remember during all of this is that love is your truth. Love is your truth. Don't forget it. No matter how anxious or worried you're feeling, take a breath, connect to your heart, and lead from there. You can lead from your heart and go to the store and buy everything you need to buy. You don't need to do it while in the energy of fear. You can smile at a stranger, but really remember your truth is love. Don't change yourself as a result of the outward circumstances. Don't sacrifice who you are as a result of the circumstances. Don't give up on who you are despite the circumstances. In more ways than ever, honor who you are more than you ever had. That's like the challenge before us. And so secondly, there's many layers and purposes of fear, but one real purpose of it is to reveal to you what needs to be healed within you. Fear is like an energy of a mirror reflection. And there are, societal aspects of that or collective aspects of it, but everyone right now is being triggered in a unique way. Yours, you can take mine, financial abundance, woohoo, that's what's coming up for me, but it might be health, it might be separation from family, it might be so many things, but really use this opportunity again to take the action you need to take that's best for you and your loved ones, but to also, we've all this time on our hands now to go within and just look at what this fear is reflecting to you about what needs to be healed within you and dive into that and use this as an opportunity to do that work because that is part of its purpose. Our third spiritual truth to remember is that separation is an illusion. We go down a spiral because we believe we are separate from the universe, from divine, from God, whatever word serves you. We believe that it is outside of us and separate of us rather than knowing that it's all within, that we are emanations. And therefore, perfect health and well-being is within you if you choose to honor it and shine it out. Abundance is within you. But we get into fear when we believe we're separate. So really remembering your unity consciousness right now and you're one with the divine right now will really help you through these times. And building upon that, truth number 4, you are not limited. You are not. Because you are unified and one with a divine, you have all the qualities and traits of the divine within you. There weren't like some that were left out, that weren't given to you. And this is a really important time to remember that. And with number 5, your choice, your ability to choose your perceptions in every moment is your superpower. Where your attention goes, energy flows. So what are you choosing to perceive right now? What are you choosing to perceive about your own storyline within that? Right? Are you spending more time being interested in the virus than interested in your perfect health and well-being? Where are you focusing and choosing to focus your attention right now? And what perceptions are you creating? And remember, you have the ability to choose your thoughts and choose your perceptions in every moment. And as you do, you shift your reality. You shift everything for you. And finally, soul purpose truth number 6, what you give, you receive. I went into an immediate, I'm a business owner. Oh my God, what can I cut? Went to the cut, right into limitation from expenses, everything, right? And instead, like the opposite, we should be focusing on what we have to give right now. We should be focusing on abundance, not lack and limitation. So really focusing and centering your energy right there and being kind to one another. Really, really focusing on what you have to give. So again, if anyone needs special support, reach out to me. I'm here for you. I know these are trying times. And again, just be healthy and make smart choices for yourself right now. Really. So, switching gears, let me tell you a little bit about this incredible human being that we have coming on the show in a second. So, I'm going to do a little talking about Michael's bio here, and then we are going to get into it. Michael Alago, he grew up in Brooklyn in a devoted Puerto Rican family. And early on, he had this incredible passion for music, art, photography. And at a really young age, he started heading downtown and heading with all these like scene makers and people in the music business. Cut. At age 24, he ends up signing Metallica, like huge, and becoming this huge, incredible music executive, like top of the game, top of the world. And he has like this, it's so incredible, like his story, because I mean, he did all this at such a young age and he just went right for it. And he was at the top, and then like all things do, he started having some challenges, including being diagnosed with full-blown AIDS in the 80s and then battling addiction. So he is the guy that has achieved his dreams, beat death, and come back. Now he is an incredible photographer, and he has a beautiful book coming out really soon, and that's what we're here to talk about as well. And I would love to welcome Michael to the show. Welcome, Michael.
Oh, thank you so much. Greetings from New York City.
How are you doing there in New York, babe?
Good, paying attention, trying not to keep MSNBC on for 24 hours. But, you know, I want to be up to date with what's going on. I listen when Dr. Anthony Fauci speaks on TV. He is a voice of reason. He's an immunologist who I know about for the last 40 or so years. He was here helping us all during the AIDS crisis, and he's here to give us good, solid information now in regards to the coronavirus. So I'm doing well. You know, I'm going to stay home a lot. You know, I did a lot of shopping, food shopping recently, and I have 4 books that I want to start reading soon. And it's a little bit of downtime. You know, I'm going to be quiet and introspective, and that's where I am right this very minute.
Well, I'm glad that you're taking care of yourself. I'm glad
Yes.
that you're honoring your needs and those around you at this time. I think that's incredibly beautiful and responsible. But let's give all these people like a switch from, you know, thinking about this stuff into talking about your incredible, like ridiculous life you've had, my friend. And let me just start like with this statement. Gay Puerto Rican kid, right? Like breaks.
Oh, yes, that's me.
Yeah, that's you. Like breaks. Sounds like the biggest heavy metal band of all time. So let's start at the beginning and
Sure.
Can you talk about like your journey of growing up in Brooklyn and how that took you into this area. Give us the scoop.
Well, you know, I have this book coming out March 25th called I Am Michael Alago, Breathing Music, Signing Metallica, Beating Death. I start the book letting people know that I came out of the womb loving music. And that was my whole entire life was music. I watched TV shows that were music related. Dick Clark's American Bandstand, Don Cornelius' Soul Train, Don Kirshner's Midnight Special, and all those television shows had a variety of artists on them. Everyone from Aretha Franklin to Todd Rundgren to David Bowie. It was such an incredible mixture. So at a very early age, my listening was informed by a lot of types of different artists. And I just thought at some point, I must have been all of 14 or 15, ooh, I want to be in the music business. But what does that mean to a 14 or 15-year-old? I don't play an instrument. I don't know what that means. So I just continue enjoying the music shows on TV. At some point, I discovered this weekly newspaper called The Village Voice. I was probably 15 or 16 years old. It was a weekly. And in it listed music, art, theater, porn, and politics. Back then, I didn't care about politics. I cared about the other 4 things. So I just knew to go to the music section, and I knew and I heard about a scene happening in New York City, mostly at CBGB and Max's Kansas City. And it's about 1977 now. And I started going out and listening to music. A lot of
Hey,
punk
Michael,
rock.
we're going to pause you just one little sec. I'm getting told we got to go to a quick commercial break. So when we come back, we're going to talk more with Michael Alago.
Are you interested in buying or selling a home in the Atlanta area? Are you looking for an experienced, top-producing agent who consistently sells and closes homes year after year? If so, give Shira Cohen a call at 678-523-0757 or visit her website at shiracohen.atlantafinehomes.com to learn more. Her proven marketing methods, extensive resources, and partnership with Atlanta Fine Homes Sotheby's International Realty can truly make a difference when buying or selling a home.
And we're back. This is Jessica Joins, and you're watching Soul Purpose with Jessica Joins. You can now watch and listen to all exclusive and uncensored content of UI Media 24/7 at uimediaapp.com. And by the way, we're taking your questions live today. So if you have questions and you'd like to say hello, call us. We'll put you live on air. That number is 678-495-4345. And we're back with Michael. So Michael, we were just getting started. Continue.
Yeah, so it's the 1970s. My first concert was actually Alice Cooper. It was the last night of the $1 Billion Babies tour at Madison Square Garden. My cousin's boyfriend, Manny the Greek from Astoria, that was his name, That's what we used to call him. He took me to see Alice Cooper. The theatricality and the music changed my entire life. Fast forward, as I was mentioning, I discovered the Village Voice. That informed me that there was music out there that I needed to go hear. And I was underage. I think the only reason my mom let me go was because I did so well in school. But going into the city from
Where
Brooklyn,
were you, like 16 or like 17?
I was about 15, 16. Yes, 15, 16. Looked like I was 12 and a half. And I just started exploring.
You just loved it.
Yes, I just started exploring. Yes, the city was very dangerous. And, at a young age, I had no fear. I don't know if it was being naive about it, but I had this bravado that I wanted to go where the music was. And that's exactly what I did. And I started listening to all this punk rock. And at a very early age, I saw Patti Smith and Blondie and the Ramones. And I just thought, wow, I found my tribe of people. I loved going to the theater. I remember sneaking into the Rocky Horror Show on Broadway at least a dozen times.
Wow.
I had hardly any money, so I did what they called second act. I second acted it. When people came out to smoke, I went right back in with them, found an empty seat, and that's how I enjoyed the theater sometimes. I remember purchasing a $10 opening night seat for a chorus line on Broadway. Now, I was in the first row in the balcony. Of course, for a young thing like me, that was not good enough. So I look down and I see an empty seat in the orchestra. And I run down, the lights go down, and I sit in that seat. The lights come up for intermission. I turn to my right, and who's sitting there? The actor Divine. We all know Divine from John Waters' Pink Flamingos, Female Trouble. I was in heaven. I was so shell-shocked, I didn't even say anything. We can fast forward a little bit because that's what I did for all the 70s.
You're like getting in the scene, and then that's a big leap to like doing. So how did?
Yes. Sure. I'll try to keep it as concise as possible because there's always the book to read. So it's the 70s. I'm out all the time. And where am I going with this? I'm out all the time. So now let's fast forward a little bit. And I'm going to the School of Visual Arts, and I'm working at a pharmacy on Astor Place in the East Village. And one day, it's now 1980, and I'm walking on East 11th Street. I see a gorgeous building, and it was Art Deco. And on the door, it said in a little piece of white paper, Video Club Opening. Now, keep in mind, it's 1980, and it's the very beginning of MTV. Yeah. And so I walk into the building. I'm looking around. I'm in awe. I'm 19 years old, and there's a man on the balcony. in recent interviews, I've referred to him as the Wizard of Oz. And he looks down and he said, "Kid, what do you want? We're not open. And what can I do for you?" I said, "Well, I see that you say is a video club opening and I want to work here." And he looked at me in awe, like, who is this person?
Did you
And he
even
said,
understand what a video club was? Like
no, nothing.
Yeah. Oh
It
my
was
God.
like I
Wow.
said, it was the beginning of MTV.
Yeah.
I just did a lot of talking.
Yeah.
And he looked at me and he said, "Kid, come up to my office." He said, "Do you have a resume?" I said, "No. I go to the School of Visual Arts and I work in a pharmacy." Well, he thought there was something humorous in that. So we start talking. We start talking about the Great American Songbook from the 30s and 40s up until 1980 and what was happening in the clubs, in the underground scene, and on the radio. He liked what I had to say. And he said, "Kid, I'm going to give you a job. You're going to open my mail. You're going to answer my phone, and you're going to get my lunch." And I thought, I'm in the music business.
Wow.
And you know what? For a 19-year-old to now become a part of something that was about to happen. I didn't realize this gentleman's name was Jerry Brandt, and he started the Electric Circus in the 60s. He worked with Muhammad Ali, Sam Cooke. He helped bring the Rolling Stones to the United States. He was just this incredible entrepreneur. And so he hired me.
Wow. But don't you feel like that moment, like that feels like a destiny godshot moment?
It was. Yeah, yes, definitely a godshot moment. But at 19, I don't know if I would have used those words.
Yeah.
I was just grateful that I had no plan B. I said I was going to be in the music business. And that was the beginning of it all. So I listened to everything Jerry talked about on the phone with all the booking agents. The Ritz held about 1,500 or so people. I started to learn how to speak to the agents. And a year or so later, I was the assistant booking director there. And I helped book the entertainment. After that, I felt like there was more. So in 1983, I was going out with somebody named Mitchell Krasnow. He said, "My dad is leaving Warner Brothers. I'm going to re-up Elektra Records." It was in the crapper, excuse my language, so to speak. And he said, "I think my dad should meet you." Well, I met Bob Krasnow, the new chairman of Elektra. I had that same conversation with him that I had with Jerry Brandt, except with Bob, he was an art maven. So we started talking about all the art coming out of the East Village. Keith Haring, Jean-Michel Basquiat, Robert Longo, Richard Hambleton. And he liked that I really was informed. So we had that meeting. He said, "I'll call you." 2 weeks later, he called me up and he said, "I'm going to give you a job in the A&R department." Little did I know, I didn't know what A&R meant.
Yeah.
So, please. So I had to call some friends of mine and they laughed at me. And they said, "Michael, A&R is artist and repertoire." What I later found out was that was the most important department at a record company, because I was out there scouting every night, listening to cassettes every day. And, if I wasn't a good if I wasn't a great A&R person, I could have got fired.
Right.
If I wasn't a great A&R person, I wouldn't have been able to spot talent. And little did I know, I had an eye and an ear for greatness. So I started in 1983 at Elektra. And by 1984, summer, this is the nutshell version, I signed Metallica.
Wow. Oh my God.
Yeah.
I mean, so can I tell you like my only one seeing Metallica live story?
Sure.
So I was in high school, and I think it was like 93. It was Day in the Green and they were playing with GNR.
Oh, yeah. Yes, of course. That was 92, 93. Yes, of course.
93.
Yes,
yeah.
of course.
And, wasn't sober yet. And I had never seen them, right, hon?
Yes.
And I mean, and I remember I was like on someone's shoulders, drunk, high, all this stuff. I remember like a mosh pit broke out and I like fell in the mosh pit and then somehow got out. And it was like the best time of my life. Like,
absolutely.
It was so incredible. So like and seeing them live was like, it was never like, I was sort of into that music, but Metallica wasn't my thing. It was a lot of my friends' things. But seeing them live was like a total spiritual experience. So
Well, they're
how did you
extraordinary.
discover them? Like, or, you know, what that journey look like?
I talk a lot about it in my book. But there was an independent label called Megaforce. They were working with metal bands. The first 3 records I heard from them was Raven, Anthrax, and Metallica. I lost my mind when I heard the Metallica record. I knew this was a wonderful little label, but they didn't really have the finances to take these artists to that level. I was working for Elektra, which is part of Time Warner, major corporation. I had seen Metallica twice before I went to see them at Roseland, summer of 1984. I had been speaking to Lars, the drummer. I gave him my business card. When he first saw me, he was like, wait, you're a record executive at Elektra? I mean, I had a ripped t-shirt, I had jeans on. We were all in our early 20s. And I said, yes, I am. So months go by. He called me at the beginning of 84, said, we're coming. Are you still interested in us? I said, absolutely. So I go see them at Roseland. And these are 4 young, wildly charismatic people on stage. Their singer, James Hetfield, is a ringleader. He has a brilliant smile. He knows how to whip the crowd into a frenzy. And I thought, I have to be a part of this. I do. So, you know, I told Megaforce that I was interested in Metallica. They were not happy with me at all. But, you know, in the end, their business affairs people talked with our business affairs people. A deal was struck and everybody walked away very satisfied. So I signed Metallica. It was the beginning of the hard rock and heavy metal community changing. People lost their mind. They were the talk of the town, you know? And soon after, all the A&R people were out there trying to find their own Metallica. That doesn't happen very often, but there were a lot of great artists out there. And that was the beginning. And, you know, we wound up spending lots of money on Metallica to put them on the road. But they had created their own underground swell of admirers already. It was mind-boggling. It was brilliant. And I knew from that moment on that they were just going to take over the world. I just had this, I knew.
You knew, like intuitively knew.
Absolutely. From seeing them live, everybody losing their mind, I thought this is what it's all about.
So what was that like skyrocket? I mean, their fame, but like yours within that, your industry, you know, as well.
Sure.
Like, what was that experience like?
Well, other record companies called to try to steal me away from Elektra. I was so thrilled that the momentum was building beautifully with the band. And I was just doing my everyday job. I was in my office listening to cassettes every day. I did that for 25 years. There was a lot of bad cassettes. So people would get back a very kind form letter. And there was a lot of good music. But you can't sign good. If I signed good, I would be swamped in artists. I would be spending the company's money. So I really did realize at a very early stage of my career that you can only sign great. And great means that these people have to have charisma. They have to have something to say on a universal level so that we can get the music out there in a big way.
So before we go to break, like what's one kind of crazy fun story of that time period?
Oh my God. I remember recently, well, last year, I was on Lars's show, Lars Ulrich's show, It's Electric. He said, Michael, do you remember the early days? I said, well, I do remember you and I going to the trash bar, McDougal Street, and we left there completely trashed. And in the middle of McDougal, you pulled down your pants. He said, no, I didn't do that. I said, darling, you did. I had to pull them up for you. And after that, it was all a blackout.
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure that there was so much like fun, debauchery.
Oh yes, of
course. It was the start of the addiction story, which we'll like pick up on the other side. But like, what an incredible time.
As we know, it was fun until it wasn't fun anymore.
Right. Yeah, it's so true. So we're gonna come back in a little bit. This is Soul Purpose with Jessica Joins. We'll be right back.
All right.
This is Kurt Arsenault of Arsenault Advisory Group. Most of us never think we'll get divorced. Unfortunately, half of marriages will end in divorce. Children are always the first priority, but getting your finances in order will need to be addressed. The first step is to get an assessment of where you are financially. Will you keep your home? Do one or both of you have a 401k or pension? Who will pay for the kids' college education? Will you split your debt liabilities? These are just a few things to consider when thinking about divorce. Visit arsenaultadvisory.com and download our free ebook titled 6 Things to Do Before You Get Divorced. Don't wait. Visit arsenaultadvisory.com today.
And we are back. This is Soul Purpose with Jessica Joins. Want to make sure all of you know that we're here to take your questions live. You can call us at 6878-495-4345. And you can connect with us online. You can follow us on social media on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Spreaker, and other podcasting platforms.
Absolutely.
As UI Media Network. Finally, if you are interested in buying or selling a home in the Atlanta area, are you? We have an experienced agent who sells and closes homes year after year. So if you're in that area and you're tuning in from there, give Shira Cohen a call at 678-523-0757 or visit her website, shiracohen.atlantafinehomes.com to learn more. And now we are back with Michael Alago. Hello, my dear.
Hello again.
So we were talking about all the fun and wild
Debauchery.
time.
Yes.
Any more of the stories you want to share before we go to the dark?
No, it was extraordinary that I had the job that I had. I loved every waking moment of it. I loved going out to hear music. And like I said, growing up, I knew I wanted to be in the business and I had no plan B. And, thank God it worked out like it was supposed to work out. But, all that drinking and drugging lasted for a bit of time. And then, it goes from being young people having a good time to the drugs and the alcohol turning on you.
Yeah.
Speaking for myself.
Yeah.
So I don't know where you want to go with this right now.
Yeah. Well,
Sure.
There's a couple of things too, because like you also are, you're a gay man, right? And
Sure.
in that industry, like, how is that, especially back in the day, like, how was that perceived and received?
Mm-hmm.
What was that like?
I always tell people I never saw a closet in my life. Closets are for clothes. At a very young age, knowing that I was gay, I never cared what people thought about me. It was very strange for a young person to feel that way. I thought, you're either going to like me or you're not going to like me. And once I was in the business, I felt the same way. And I always thought, that if you're coming to play music for me and you never met a gay person before in your life, unfortunately, here I am. And, I'm just like you. You aren't coming to talk about my sexuality. You were coming to talk about music. And if we could relate on that level, then all is good. Growing up, I never had problems with people. I think once, 3 a.m, I was walking down Christopher Street and somebody mugged me. But my experiences in the music business really were always positive when it came to dealing with people. Even all those young, tough, heterosexual, leather-clad young men who were always at all the heavy metal shows. I was there in my leather, drinking beer, carrying on, grabbing them by the shoulders, having a good time. And, I don't know. It all just kind of like worked out. Never had problems, thank God. I think the only problems I ever had as time went on was the beginning of health issues. But I had a grand old time for 25 years.
And it's true. And what I think is so interesting about your story, and maybe, it sounds like it's just who you were. Like you were so comfortable in your own skin. You were totally
sure.
You owned who you were, and you went after what you want. Like back to did it just feel like I have to go in this music? Like you didn't even think about it. Like did you ever think like, oh, I need to get like a real job, or do you know?
No,
never.
Not once.
Never.
No. Like I said, at a young age, What does that mean, being in the music business? I don't know. Well, I soon found out, like I mentioned, in 1980, when Jerry Brandt hired me to be the assistant music director at the Ritz. And the rest is history, as they say. I talk about all these things in my upcoming book, I Am Michael Alago. But no, I never had a plan B. And it all, and you know, it just
that was the only option, right?
It was the only option. And you know what? It all worked out for me. I have been blessed forever. And I attribute some of those blessings to my mother and my Aunt Ida. My mom was dedicated to St. Jude, and every single day she lit a candle, especially for me, up until when I was 58, which was 2 years ago, and she passed away. I really believe, because I'm a person of faith, that those candles and her prayers and her love got me through so much. For real.
Yeah. So let's talk about some of that. So the drinking, the drugging, all of that. When did it start to unravel, and what did that look like?
Oh gosh, let's see. If I was 23, 24 in Electra, about 8 years in, okay. I was 32. I drank everything and anything you put in front of me. I was starting to do lots of cocaine and ecstasy, and I thought it was still okay, believe it or not.
Yeah.
Then one day, I was 32 years old. I get to the office. I get called into the chairman's office, and he said, "What's this I hear? You're out. You're rude. You're a no-show, and this is how you represent Elektra Records." And of course, I said, "Bob, I have no idea what you're talking about." He said, "Don't even go there with me." He said, as a young person, he said, I was there. So what are we doing about this? Are you going to get some help, or do I have to let you go at 5 o'clock and you can pack up your office? Well, of course, I started arguing with him because Bob, you're not there. You don't know what's happening. Bob said, "You're fired." I was shocked.
Wow.
And he said, "You can leave my office now." I went to my office. His executive assistant, Ruth, followed me, and she closed the door and she said, "Michael, Bob doesn't want to fire you, but why are you arguing with him when you know you need help?" I said, "Oh, Ruth, it's Christmas is coming." She said, "What does that mean? Christmas is coming. Are you going to argue with me?" She said, "No." She said, "Do you want me to set up with Marianne in human resources that you get help and go somewhere?" So I just gave in and I said yes. So it was Christmas week. I wound up at Hazelden in Minneapolis for a 30-day program. And I came home. It was January. I don't remember. What year was it? Oh, geez.
Yeah. But anyway.
Okay. 90s.
Yeah.
90s. And, I had still such arrogance, because how dare they tell me I need help? So I didn't go to any of the men's groups. I didn't follow up with any AA meetings. I was, for 8 years, what they consider a dry drunk. I was arrogant. And, I don't know where we get this. I got this arrogance from. I was going to show you. What I was going to show you,
I hadn't surrendered, right?
Not at all.
Yeah.
I had no idea. So I did my job, and I just didn't drink for 8 years. I don't recommend anybody who's in the throes of addiction to do something like that. It's not helpful. You don't learn anything, because all you have is your own mind, which got you into that trouble to begin with.
Yeah.
So 8 years passed. I'm now 40 years old. And somebody offered me a drink. And I said, yes.
You took it.
And from 40 to 47 were the worst years of my life. I wound up in jail. I wound up in crack dens in New Orleans and don't know how I got there. I wound up in St. Vincent's Hospital numerous times with IVs coming out of my arm, heart monitors, hoping that my heart literally wouldn't explode from all the crack and the coke. And I did that for 7 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
Hey, Michael,
terrible.
Looks like we have a caller. Who do we have on? Hello?
Hello. Hi. My name's
Hi.
Ashley. I'm just calling. Really love your show, by the way. I have a question. I know we're all hearing about the coronavirus nonstop, but my family and I are really concerned. We're hearing it's like a bioweapon and there's more to it than we think. And we're just really terrified. So also for recession purposes, is there any advice that you have to give just to get through this and to, put our minds at peace?
Yeah.
You go first.
Okay. Well, thank you. You're the guest. So I'm going to give you some advice, and you've got to tune into your own heart and take it with that. It is a lower consciousness idea of duality, that, something, is attacking us per se. I come from the perspective that God is in everything or nothing. And that everything is always happening for us, not to us. And that is the perception you can choose to see if you choose to see it. To really see how this can help you rise above your own fears, to really see how this can help you confront certain things that might not be working in your life. And on the collective level, time will tell. Again, I believe within everything, there will be something positive and beautiful that comes out of this, as crazy as that sounds right now. And that we just have to trust and have faith and surrender within that. With that, do what you need to do to take care of family, but it is not helpful for you to reside within the frequency and energy of fear. Fear lowers your immune system, fear, it lowers all of your defenses. And you are a master creator. You are a co-creator. So as much as you can keep your thoughts positive, affirm your health and well-being, not relinquish your power within this, and affirm that, I think you'll be in a much better place. But I don't buy into the conspiracy theory or any of that kind of stuff. Michael, what do you want to add?
Hey, Ashley, it's Michael Alago. For me, I'm not overthinking this. We are learning about this virus little by little every day as we move forward. I do watch television just so I'm up to date. I pay attention to our health professionals. I wash my hands all the time. And I'm just doing what they tell me to do. I'm stocked at home with some food. And I'm just saying my prayers, helping my friends that are out there who may be in a very panicked or worried state with prayer and meditation. But I'm not trying to overthink like what's going to happen to us. You know what? We are strong people, all of us. We will get through this. We will be stronger for it. And I think overall, humanity is incredible. We are extraordinary people. So we have to be kind to one another. We have to love one another. I'm not overthinking. And Ashley, I don't want you to overthink it either. Stay as positive as you can, help your family, and just stay on top of what's going on, and maybe by television, the radio, and we'll all get through this.
Yeah, that's
Thank
so
you, guys.
beautiful.
Thank you.
No, thank you, Ashley. Surrender. Surrender and prayer will really help you right now too. And thank you for bringing this out. I'm sure it helps so many people who are also scared right now. Thank you.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So coming back, my dear, talking about surrender, Michael and I know each other through the rooms at AA. And, I had such a similar but different story to you. I got sober in my late 20s.
Wow.
Now I'm in my, mid 40s, right? Coming up on 4 years, or just had 4 years. So
congratulations.
Thanks, love. But it's that surrender that is real, the letting go. And I always say, like, if you signed up for, to experience addiction, like you signed up to have a spiritual awakening as well.
Yes.
And to surrender.
Well, I was a very willful man for a very long time. That's why even though at 32, I didn't drink for 8 years, I was willful because I didn't do anything to help myself. So finally, I was sick and tired of myself at 47 years old. After that second bout of 7 years, my liver hurt. I was taking my HIV meds with vodka and beer.
Oh my gosh.
My primary care physicians were furious with me. And one day, Sunday, October 21st, 2007, I woke up. I was like a zombie.
Wow.
My liver hurt. My head hurt.
We got to go to a quick commercial break, my dear.
To be continued.
To be continued. We'll be right back. Joins, author, spiritual coach, and inspirational speaker. Understanding your soul purpose is the most important work you will ever do. It's the key to unlocking your true potential and happiness. And that's why I'm so happy to announce that you now have the opportunity to have your most important soul purpose questions answered by me live on air. That's right. I'll tackle your most important questions about how to step into living your life's true calling on my show, Soul Purpose with Jessica Joins. So if there are big questions or challenges you've been wanting answers to help with your soul purpose journey, here's your chance. Write to me at contact@uimedianetwork.org and you might get a chance to be featured on my show. Welcome back. This is Soul Purpose with Jessica Joins. Hey, don't forget to like, comment, or share and support, and email us at contact@uimedianetwork.org to know how to sponsor this show. Come on. And then tune in tomorrow at 5 p.m. Eastern for a new episode of Health Matters Show with host Dr. Nelson Bulmash and his guest, relationship maven, Abby Medcalf. That should be really interesting. And we're back with Michael.
Sounds good.
I know. You know, I want to say one more thing to our call-in, Ashley, that, you know, I was thinking about on the break, and let me know how this has played out in your life, Michael, is, you know, this, like, the storylines that we create, I mean, they can be so damaging, right? And
yes,
so hard when you're in fear to know how to get out of that. And what I always would say is, like, pray for the pause, you know, like we do this a lot with, like, step 6 and 7 in AA, and it's like pause and redirect. And as much as you can just observe that, you know, because this isn't serving you, and pause and, like, choose to reaffirm your truth, choose a positive thought, choose to see a positive perspective. But it's hard work, you know, and that's why it comes back all that surrender, right? And just letting go. So how did you finally let go? How did you let go?
Oh boy. Well, like I said, you know, moments ago, I was drinking and drugging. That last 7 years was really killing me, literally killing me. And finally, when I felt willing, not willful anymore, to get to an AA meeting, I did. That Sunday, October 21st at 2:30 in the afternoon. I remember that very specifically. And I thought, I can't live that way anymore. I'm killing myself. I'm lying. I'm a no-show. I'm wrecking everything that I built for myself. And, you know, my mother, I was killing my mom, and that was killing me spiritually. Right. So once I got into the program, I started listening, and I learned a lot of stuff. And that old tape stopped playing. And because I was hearing new things in the 12-step meeting rooms. And it just became extraordinary, because I knew at that point in time, I wanted to be clean and sober. Fast forward, here we are. I have 12 years. I'll be coming up October 21st on 13 years. Wow. And I go to meetings every day, Monday to Friday, 9 a.m. I just get there. I wake up in the morning. I make my bed. I make my tea. I say my prayers. Sometimes it's prayers from when I was in Catholic school. Sometimes it's just a list, a very long list of thank yous. And that starts to fill my head with love and goodness. So when I walk out the door and I say the serenity prayer, sometimes a million times if I feel like I need it, and get to that meeting, that all is the beginning of the love that I feel for myself and
you
everyone
share
out
it.
there.
I actually have something I'm going to read that you wrote.
Okay.
You share, I mean, like if you have the privilege of following or being friends with Michael on Facebook, I highly recommend it. I mean, you are putting it out every day, helping
every day. Oh, yes.
Yeah. So you had this today. You said, all growth comes through the tough times. Embrace it. Begin with the end in mind. See the destination clearly. The path will appear. What is more glorious than a soul when it liberates itself?
Mm-hmm.
You talk.
Sure.
I mean, use a little bit of that right now. Can you share a little more of that?
Well, like I said, when I decided I was going to change my life and have this new life, I had enough of the old life. I was wildly successful. I was fearful as a grown-up that I was going to be better than everybody. All of that got me nowhere. Here I am. I'm starting a new life in sobriety. I go to the 12-step meetings, and I realize that, you know what? I am a good person. And all of that stuff was just tearing me down, ripping my heart out. And I wanted this new life. What I have learned in this new life is that I am just a willing person. I am willing to help everyone and anyone in and out of the rooms that needs help. As a sober man, what I have learned is that I show up for my life. I show up for you. When you show up for life, you're responsible. And when you're responsible, people then know they can rely on you. And isn't that a wonderful thing to be in that space, that kind of space, rather than in all that negativity, which one day at a time I move forward, and I just don't want any of that anymore. So what I know is that I am here to be of good service to everyone in and outside of the rooms of these 12-step meetings.
Yeah.
I guess that was like a simple version.
No, but it's so beautiful. I mean, I always, once I got surrendered to my addiction, I kind of got fascinated by it. And I talk a lot about this in my book, is like, I now perceive like the spiritual disease of addiction it's kind of like a disease we all have. And that's like alignment with the ego. But addicts just bad. Like you're completely in alignment with fear, your total self-will run right, self-sabotage. And it's such a, like, I almost believe you come to know that darkness because you can come to know the universe, God, divine, by also knowing what it isn't,
Sure.
And even taking it back to what's going on right now, like the spiritual opportunity I see before us is to really like come to terms face to face with your fear for the opportunity to surrender while practicing your own self-care and taking care of yourself and your family. But it's kind of fascinating. I always say I wish like everyone could have the 12 steps, right?
Oh, absolutely. They'd be good for everyone in the whole world. Yeah. It's a funny thing right now, because in all of this that we're going through, and when I say going through, I don't mean my program. Thank God I have a great program. But, we're going through this coronavirus. And I've not had any fear about this because I'm very cautious. I pay attention. And I'm just moving forward with ease like that.
Yeah, I love it.
And I pray that, nothing's going to happen to me,
Yeah. And it's like we're powerless. It's really just,
yes, of course,
our faith game, and we either trust in God or we don't,
This is where the faith kicks in big time.
Yeah.
Yes.
Good time for prayer. So, when you're not now holed up in your apartment, locked in with food, let's put that aside. What does life look like for you now? I know, like, you have a Netflix documentary. I mean, like, talk about all those things.
Well, okay, I'll give you the nutshell version. Right now, I don't have to be stuck in the house, but I want to be in the house right now while all this is going on. I turn on TCM and watch black and white movies. Like I said, by my little table next to my sofa, I have 4 books I want to start soon. But every day I'm on social media under Michael Anthony Alago, Facebook and Instagram. I put out messages about music and art and theater and prayer and meditation and thoughts and mindfulness. What was your question?
I was saying, what does life look like today? Like you're doing photography and tell me about
Sure.
your Netflix and your book.
I'm working on a 4th book right now. It's going to be all black and white portraits, a lot of tattoos. I take all the pictures on my iPhone with a Hipstamatic application. And I love that everything comes out in a square. I love how a square looks. I'm also, I answer mail every day about a documentary that's out about me called Who the F Is That Guy?
It's so good, by the way.
Thank you.
I mean, it is on Netflix, guys. You have a lot of time right now to watch Netflix. Watch it.
Oh, yeah. It's Who the F Is That Guy? The Fabulous Journey of Michael Alago. It's on Netflix. It's going on almost 3 years that they renewed us again because it's done so well. Yeah. It also now is on Amazon Prime Video. So everybody out there has their chance to see it. So beyond that, while that has been on the air, a little book company called Backbeat Books called and wanted to know if I had more stories. So of course I had to say, do I have more stories? Of course I have more stories. So I created, with the help of my co-writer, Laura Davis Channon, this book called I Am Michael Alago, Breathing Music, Signing Metallica, Beating Death. It all wound up coming out in little chapters, easy to read. And
when's the book released?
Yes, it's available for pre-release on Amazon right now. The street date is actually 9 days from now, March 25th.
Okay.
So it's very, very exciting. I'm so grateful. And after us, tomorrow I have 3 phoners I have to do. I'm doing everything by phone or Q&As, other podcasts, and I'm busy. Thank God. I love it.
Before we say goodbye, my dear, anything other words of wisdom, anything you want to share for anyone at this moment in time?
Well, you know what? We're going through tough times, but we are fabulous people. I say be kind to everyone. Smile at the person on the street that you see. When you're in the rooms of any 12-step meeting that you're at, if you're sitting next to somebody, say hello to them. They could be going through something that's tougher than what you're going through. And that little hello, that little act of kindness will perhaps bring them back to the rooms the next day. So love you all out there. I'm on social media every day, and come and say hello, please.
Yeah.
Thank you, Jessica, so for having me.
Thank you.
Absolutely. I love it. Thank you so much.
So everyone, we are about out of time. I really want to put out there, contact me if you need additional support. I'm happy to help you and offer you any guidance that I can. I post a lot of content on Instagram. That's at Jessica L. Joins. You can find me there. But we are going to get through this,
Absolutely.
And don't lose your humanity during this time. Stay centered in your heart as best you can. But at the same time, if you need to release, if you need to let go, you must feel it to release. So if you're feeling the fear, feel it and get it out. If you're feeling sad and worry, feel it and get it out. Mm-hmm. A great way to release this stuff is to really, write a letter. You can write a letter to yourself from the universe. There's so many different ways that you can really allow yourself to release the fear you're feeling and get back in center in your truth. Get back in center in your heart, as much as you can. Just honor yourself, who you are, those around you. And like our dear guest said, don't overthink it. Don't overthink it. Use this gift to really go within and really just be with yourself, surrendering and retrusting. Now is really a time to believe that anything is possible, to believe in the good and to choose to see the good. I will be with you next month. I'm here if you need me. This is Soul Purpose with Jessica Joins. Bye-bye for now.
Peace.
We hope this episode helped you take a step closer to find your soul purpose. We will be back in 3 weeks on Monday at 6 p.m. Eastern on the UIMediaapp.com, WDJY 99.1 FM, WTTA 101.2 FM, Talk10FM.com, and Facebook Live on United Intentions, Spreaker, and many other platforms. Jessica Joins is happy to hear from you, so make sure you watch and share her show, and also write to her on Facebook with your comments, suggestions, and questions. Wherever you are in life, it's never too late to uncover what makes you happy. Let us help you find your soul purpose. The United Intentions Foundation and its associates take no responsibility for the opinions and statements made by the talk show hosts